Hey everybody, I'm Stacy here at Scrapbooking Made Simple, scrapbookingmadesimple.com, and it's time for our next Saturday with Stacy YouTube class number 450. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is an exciting class. I am doing a launch for Spellbinders that almost didn't happen. Now, if you're new to our channel, I encourage you to subscribe to our channel, and you just have to hit the little heart over here with the SMS in it, and that way you get updates and notifications every time one of our classes launches, which is again every Saturday morning, 8 a.m. sunny California time, 10 a.m. Central, 11 a.m. Eastern, or 4 p.m. in the United Kingdom. Now this week, again, I have got a launch for Spellbinders of a new tool that if you have a Platinum or a Platinum 6, this is going to be a game changer for you. But I also have launch of new product from them. So if you have a Big Shot machine or a Platinum machine or a Gemini machine or a Switch machine, well, you're gonna love this product too. And then to top it all off, I have a brand new manufacturer to Scrapbooking Made Simple, Lisa Horton. She's out of the UK. She is just a dream to work with. An amazing little independent mom and pop business that has drive and gusto. They really do. And her embossing folders are stunning. Not just a little pretty, stunning. So I have got amazing 3D background embossing folders from Spellbinders, and I've got beautiful motifs from Lisa Horton. I hope you stay to watch this class because I'm going to be using that Spellbinders tool that's going to, again, it's going to change the way you look at your Platinum and your Platinum 6 if you are a Spellbinders machine owner. Before I get there, I have winner to talk about, and I'm going to go pretty quickly through this. We've got a pretty extensive class, and I do need to talk to you a little bit. I always need to talk. Now, if you don't want to hear me talk, I get it. I talk a lot. I know it. You don't want to watch this during the premiere then. After the premiere is over, you are free to fast forward to your most favorite parts and then really absorb in what pertains to you. But during the live chat, there is no fast forwarding, so you just get me. A lot of me. But I wouldn't be me if I didn't teach the way I felt I would. If I was in a class, how would I want somebody to teach to me? Would I want it to be done? Or would I really want to understand the process and the do's and don'ts and what to do and what not to do? Sometimes it's more important to tell you what not to do with a product than to show you how to use it. So I'm going to do winner, chicken dinner right now, and we're going to get started. And then I'm going to talk to you a little bit and then show you samples, and then we'll get started. So hang with me. It's gonna be fun. I'm excited to do this. Playing with the product, I have had nothing but the best time ever. And that just makes teaching even so much more special when you really, you just love the things you work with. Okay, I always love the things I work with. All right, so we've got two winners from last week, which was $4.49, and that was Emboss It Like It's Hot with the Sizzix Switchlets. Wow, what a deal were those. Who knew they were going to raise the price right in the middle of the YouTube? But we already had our price locked in, so I hope you all took advantage of it. I'm actually going to bring one of them out and work with it again today. So these two lucky ladies have won a $25 gift card to Scrapbooking Made Simple. I hope you find something that makes your heart happy and spend it compliments of us. Our first winner is Bobby with an I at the end. Bobby Ann Day. Hello, Bobby Ann Day. How are you doing? You're our first winner chicken dinner here at Scrapbooking Made Simple. Congratulations. You can go check out your account right now and see that there's $25 sitting there waiting for you. Wahoo. Our next winner is Connie. Hello, Connie. Connie Tracy. I love both of these names. I could pronounce everything this week. Hello, Connie Tracy. Did you ever think I'd be calling your name? Did you ever think you'd actually hear it? Well, hello. There it is. So we have to do the winner chicken dinner for these two lovely ladies. And if you want to be a chance to, or if you want a chance to hear your name called in one of my YouTube classes, all you have to do is post a comment down below. Not over in live chat, but below. And to be able to do that, you must subscribe to our channel. So the little heart with the little SMS, just click it. So winner, winner, chicken dinner dance for Connie and Bobby Ann. Yes, Connie and Bobby Ann. Are you ready? You're a winner, chicken dinner. You're a winner, chicken dinner. Wahoo, ka-choo. For you. Congratulations to both of you. I hope you enjoy your winnings. And again, find something that makes your heart happy, because that would make my heart happy. Now, I have a new launch from Spellbinders. We're bringing it to you before anybody else. You'll be able to find it in multiple places in the next upcoming weeks. Absolutely. I've got product from Lisa Horton, and as I started, I told you this YouTube almost didn't happen. And I want to tell you a little bit about that, and then we'll talk a little bit about the product, maybe. We'll see. So, when I was in my 20s, I worked for a jewelry manufacturer, high-end jewelry manufacturer. Well, I mean, we did everything. We did high-end. We sold to lots of stores like Macy's and QVC and all sorts of places, and Saks, and so we covered the whole spectrum of retail stores that we sold to and manufactured for. And I would go to trade shows all the time. Typically, when I went to a trade show, I was the manufacturer, and retail stores were coming to us and looking at the products to put in their jewelry store. But in my position, I also acted as a buyer, because obviously we put everything together, but we'd have to buy the stones from one place and the gold from another, and findings and things like this. So I also sourced and did all the buying for, quite a bit of the buying for the company. And I would travel worldwide, and it was amazing. So I was in a show in Las Vegas, the JCK show. I don't even know, I'm sure they still have the JCK show, but it was like the largest jewelry show anywhere. It was an international show. It was beautiful. And I was there as an exhibitor, but I would walk the show as a buyer, because I would need to buy things, the components to make up our jewelry. And I would take my dad lived in Victorville at the time, and he would drive out to Las Vegas, and he would stay with me a night or two, and he would help me set the booth up, and then I'd take him to a super special dinner, and he'd help me sneak in the contraband, which would be, a case of water, because you weren't allowed to bring your own water into the convention center. No, you had to buy your water from them, and then you had to pay them to deliver the water to your booth, which was like hundreds of dollars. So we'd sneak in snacks for the buyers and waters and all sorts of stuff. And he was my wingman on that. So one day during this show, I had the opportunity to do some walking around. It was probably on the last day of the show, because that's the quietest day. And my dad was there, and I said, "Okay, let's go walk, and let's go take a look. I have to go meet with some of our vendors and talk to them." And my dad's like, "Great, I'll hang along with you." He loved to tag along, and he was a talker like I was. And so we stopped by one of the booths. And when I was in my 20s, I mean, the job that I had, it was an important job. I was an important person, and I knew I was an important person, okay? Probably not as humble as I needed to be in my 20s, and much more full of myself without question. I mean, I really did think I was all that and a bag of chips, because of the position that I held. And I knew that other companies, manufacturers that were our vendors, regarded me as an important account to do business with. So I stopped by one booth with my dad, and we were looking at sapphires. We were looking at stones, because we made sapphire jewelry, but we had to buy the sapphires. And I was talking to the gentleman who was from another country, and we've done business before, and he knows that I'm an important customer for him. He knows that, and unfortunately, so did I. And because again, not as humble as I should have been back then. Good learning lessons. So he pulls out the stones that I'm looking at, and it's kind of melly, which means smaller stones. I'm not looking at like big sapphires. I'm looking at little stones to make accents for jewelry. And I'm negotiating, and I'm looking at different parcels, and I wanted his best parcel at the same price as his lowest parcel. So I wanted a really good deal. And because of our buying power, I expected a really good deal. And it was my negotiating. That was part of my job, to negotiate a really good deal. And I'm talking to them, and I can see that they're not excited about the price that I offered at all. But I hold firm, and they say that they're going to have to get back to me. They'll let me know. And so I walk away, and my dad said, "So how'd that work for you?" And I said, "Well, I think it went great." And he goes, "Well, did you get the deal?" And I go, "Of course not. They have to think about it." And he goes, "Well, Stacy, if they have to think about it, chances are you're not going to get the deal." And I'm like, "Wait, what?" I said, "No, don't you know who I am?" I'm sure that didn't come out of my mouth, because my father would have let me have it if I had said that. But I'm sure in my 20-year-old mind, I'm thinking, do you not know who I am? Hello, of course they're going to give me the deal. So my dad and I go to dinner at like the Rio Hotel, and he starts talking about it again. And he's like, you were really asking him to give you the very, very best that he had at the lowest possible price. You were picking stuff out of the parcel thing that you had, saying no on these and yes on those, and asking him to give it to you for the lowest possible price." He goes, "Does that seem fair?" I'm like, "Fair? What does fair have to do with business?" And he goes, "Well, I guess it really doesn't, if you don't want a really good relationship with your manufacturer, your vendor. If you don't want a good relationship with your vendor, well, then it really doesn't matter. You can be as unfair as you want. Just know that if they decide not to do business with you anymore, well, you might have had a hand in that." I mean, like a slap across my face. And we're sitting in the seafood restaurant at the Rio Hotel, and so I'm like, "Well, I don't understand." He goes, "Well, what would it have cost you if you had just bought the parcel as is, as opposed to cherry picking out the good stuff and making him keep the crap?" Sorry. and I said, "Well, probably not that much more." And he said, "Really? Not that much more. So you're pushing him, when really you could have probably taken it all and used the other stuff in other pieces for maybe Sears as opposed to Saks." And I said, "Well, yeah, I probably could have done that." And he goes, "I wonder how that would have made that man, that guy feel if you had come and said, 'Hey, I want a really good deal on this, but I'm going to take all of it. I'm not going to cherry pick out the good stuff and leave you with the ickies. I'm going to take all of it.'" And I said, "Oh, really?" And he said, "Just think about it. Just give it some thought." And so the next day was takedown. You have to take down your booth, and I went back to that to the vendor who was selling the stones, and I walked up and I kind of saw him wince, like, "Oh my God, she's back." Now what? And I said, "Yesterday, how about I take that entire parcel? I still want it for the price I want it for. But how about I take the entire parcel for that price? The good, the bad, the ugly, I'll take it all." And he looked at me and he said, "I think we can arrange that. I think we can do something along that lines." Okay, good lesson to learn. Good lesson to learn. If you're going to be a partner with somebody, you need to be a partner with somebody. You don't get to just have all the good and none of the extra, none of the side that you don't want. And where is this leading to? Well, this YouTube almost didn't happen. Spellbinders has come out with brand new 3D embossing folders, and they're beautiful, and they're big, and they're affordable, and they're just yummy. And they've also come out with a universal platform for their machine. A universal platform. Well, it's as close to a universal platform as you can get. There's going to be some things that don't necessarily run through it. Not everything is exactly the same. So it's as close to a universal platform as you can get. But I don't want the universal platform. But you need the universal platform to run their embossing folders through a Platinum or a Platinum 6. But we don't sell a Platinum or a Platinum 6. We can't do the dropship program with them. It's too much. We're a big shot. We sell big shots, not a ton of them, but we have those online and they drop ship for us. So I really, really want those embossing folders. They're beautiful. I'm so excited. You showed them to me. Nicole brought them because I had been hounding them. Where's your embossing folders? When do we get 3D embossing folders? And she finally said, I've got them, but you need this. And I'm like, I don't need that. I'll just use my Big Shot machine. I can get them to go through my Big Shot machine. And I almost saw the same wince on her face as I did with that international vendor at the Stones. She didn't want to say no because she likes us. She likes Scrapbooking Made Simple. We're a pretty good account. We're not her biggest account by any stretch of the imagination. But I could see she didn't want to say no. But the idea of these 3D embossing folders is that you want to be launched with this platform. So we took a step back because I needed to think, and if I'm going to be a good partner, I have to take all of it. I've got to take the things that I can use with anybody's machines, and the things that they're bringing out that are a tool that's going to help people who have a Platinum or a Platinum 6 use their things, even though we don't sell that machine. That's the right thing to do. That's the good partner. That's the honorable thing to do. And that's what my dad was trying to show me back in my early 20s, when I thought I would just sort out the good and leave them with the not so good. The products that Spellbinders has is amazing, and their new universal platform, almost universal, is a game changer for people. And I wanted those 3D embossing folders, but they're not as good without the platform if you have a Platinum machine. I want to be a good partner to them. They're a great partner to us. Who would I be if I cherry-picked just the best and let the rest go? Because it didn't work for me. Sure, if we sold their machine, it would be easy peasy, but we don't. So if you want a Platinum machine, and I have one, I'm going to use it. If you want a Platinum machine, you go to spellbinders.com and you buy one from them. Absolutely. Let me show you how it works. Let me show you how the embossing folders work in both a Sizzix machine and a Platinum machine. That way, if you have a Big Shot machine, you can use them too. But most importantly, let me be a good partner to a company that I value. Yep, there's my dad sitting on my shoulder. So that's what we're going to start with today. I'm going to start with the Spellbinders products, their embossing folders, and their new almost universal platform. I'm going to show it to you. I'm going to work with it. We're going to run each of their embossing folders through, and then I'm going to bring back, if you were on the fence last week about the pink ink wax lyrical or the creative expressions gilded wax, I think this week you're going to see even more reason to have it, because I'm going to work with that too. But I've got techniques all over the place in this YouTube. I'm going to show you not just Spellbinders folders. I'm going to show you Sizzix embossing folders with their new universal platform. I'm going to show you Nellie's embossing folders. I'm going to show you Lisa Horton's embossing folders. I've got a Creative Expressions embossing folder, all 3D, showing you how they work with their new platform. Are you ready? If you're still with me, thank you for letting me share my story about my dad, because it was a teachable moment that has stayed with me. And sometimes it gets lost in there. But I saw that same look on Nicole's face, like she didn't want to say, no, you can't have the folders. But she really wanted to say, oh, Stacy, they go together. Yeah, they do. They go together. So I'm going to show them together. All right, you guys. Get ready. We got a lot to do. I'm going to tilt down. We're going to get started for today. Thanks for being here and being part of the SMS family. All right, so zoom on in. I've got some samples for you. So first off, I've got a Lisa Horton sample. This is a 3D embossing folder. It is beautiful. It is a slim line. We'll be playing with some of the Lisa Horton. I have got a Spellbinders embossing folder for you. Also 3D. Amazing product. And then the last one is a Spellbinders embossing folder. Look at the little birdies and the little leaves. Spellbinders 3D embossing folder, and these are Spellbinders dies to go with. So let's pull over the platform. I've got more samples than I ever could possibly. I don't know how you're going to stick around to see all of them, but the girls went crazy. All right, here's the platform, and it does say new cut, emboss, and create universal plate system. Universal plate system. Well, it's almost a universal plate system. And you're like, well, what do you mean almost? In the embossing world folder, or folder world, let's go back. Sorry, I have to talk to you. I've got to talk to you. In the embossing world folder, there is really no standardized thickness for embossing folders. Every manufacturer is a little different, and some are a little thicker, some are a little thinner. You'll find 3D embossing folders that are super thick, and then you'll find 3D embossing folders that are super thin. I have both of those here. Dies are more standardized. If you're buying a wafer die, like a chemically etched die, a thin lid, a Spellbinders die, dies tend to be a little bit more standardized. And even if they're not, when you send it through your machine, it's just gonna dig into your plate, your cut plate a little bit more if it's just a hair bit thicker than maybe if another die that you have. It's not the end of the world. It is a big deal with embossing folders because embossing folders, they need to go through your machine all the way, and they're not gonna cut into anything. They sit on top. And so if it doesn't roll through or if it gets stuck, well, that's an issue. And Sizzix has got their big shot machine, and they've got all their plates in, and there's a way to run through embossing folders, 3D embossing folders with your Sizzix machine, and I will show you that. But Spellbinders has come out with a universal-ish platform that allows you to do all types of 3D embossing folders in their machine. You haven't been able to do 3D embossing folders in their machine for a long time, but now you can. So what's going to work? Well, Sizzix folders are going to work, and Spellbinders are obviously going to work, and Fun Stamper's Journey are going to work, and let's see, Stampin' Ups are going to work in there with their platform, and Nellies and Creative Expressions. There's a whole host of them that are going to work without any issue, because those companies tend to be, they have seem to have the same thickness of embossing folder more consistently. What companies might not work, every single embossing folder? Well, I believe they said, Simon Says Stamps may have some that work and some that don't, because maybe they're slightly different, meaning maybe they're manufacturing them at different factories. Same with Memory Box. Perhaps some Memory Box will go through and some won't, because again, maybe they're manufactured, maybe they had this embossing folder manufactured here and this one manufactured there, and there's a slight difference in the thickness. Give yourself the opportunity to try, and if it doesn't go through, if you feel it too tight, then back it out. Common sense is everything when it comes to die cutting. You don't want to force it. If it's, no, don't stop. Let's just figure out the new sandwich. Let's figure out a different way to get it through. Can you use this in your Big Shot machine? Yes, you can. It will work in a Big Shot machine. It's a bigger platform than the Sizzix machine. Could it possibly, could it void your warranty if it gets stuck? Yes, it could. But that's a standard thing throughout most companies. Most companies, including Spellbinders, have it in their warranty where it says if you use somebody else's tools and it gets stuck, well, that's on you. I'll tell you, you're talking about two of the largest and best known companies in the crafting industry. And that policy isn't there to penalize anybody. It's there to say, okay, let's use some common sense when we put something through. If you're having to go like this, well, probably not. Back it out and let's try again. Would a scrapbook.com magic mat, perhaps, would it void your warranty? Yes, if it gets stuck, sure. I've never known either company to not work with a customer though. I really haven't. And especially if it's purchased from us because, well, they value me and I value them, and we try to find a solution for everything. So when you watch this, remember, can you use it with other machines? Yes. Will it void your warranty if something happens? Yes. But if you're using a magic mat through one of your machines or a glimmer machine or a Go Press and Foil, could it void the warranty? Yes, and that's standardized from every manufacturer that sells a machine. It's nothing unique or special. Have I ever known Spellbinders or Ellison not to work with a company or with a retail consumer? No, but we have to use a little common sense when we're using this product. Will the Spellbinders embossing folders go through your Sizzix Big Shot machine without this new universal platform? Yes, you do not need it. You have everything you already have that you need right there to do these embossing folders. Is this one a little bit bigger and a little bit nicer? Yes. But I leave it up to you to decide what works best for you. And then you make that informed decision knowing what may or may not happen. All right? All right, so we're gonna get going. Are you ready? I am too. Oh my gosh, I've talked a lot. I'm sorry. Okay, so let's talk. Let's do it. So here it is. Ta-da! And let's open the box. Okay, first off, it's heavy. I'm not gonna lie, it's heavy. There is no magnetic platform to this. This was created with the purpose of being able to bring out 3D embossing folders back to the Spellbinders lineup. What's in here? Oh my gosh, a whole host of things. First things first. You're like, really? Yes, I know, I talk a lot. First things first, a shim. That's all this is, and it even says shim. And look it, they've put letters on everything. So F would be just a shim, that if you need a little extra pressure, this is what you're gonna use. E, well, E looks an awful lot like a squishy, right? Kind of like a squishy. And D sounds like a knock knock. Hello. Would have loved to have had these in different colors, but that was a whole thing I did with Ellison Sizzix. Then we have a cup plate, which is a C plate. Hello. And another C plate, because typically we sandwich everything between two of something. Then we have a B plate, which would be very much like your solo shim from Sizzix, and then your base platform. So all of these things come in your universal plate system. Everything's included. We have it on sale. I don't even remember the price. I think it retails for like $57.99 or something, and we've got it for $39.99. And if you have a Platinum or a Platinum 6 and you want to be able to do 3D embossing folders in your Platinum, this again is a game changer. Will this go through a Big Shot? Absolutely. Can you use it? Without question. Do you need it? Absolutely not. The choice is yours. I will show you that the Ellison platform is smaller. Spellbinders has given you a little bit more working room, which is kind of nice. So it is maybe 2 inches, maybe 2 inches longer, inch and a half longer, just to give you a little more working room so that when you put something down that is slimline size, it's not literally up to the edges of the platform. All right, so I've got my B plate or my A plate, my B plate, which is my solo shim. I've got my 2 C plates, which are my cut plates. I've got my D plate, which is my knock knock, which is what I'm going to use if I want to do embossing. I've got my squishy, and I've got an extra shim just in case I need just a little bit more pressure. I'm going to start with the Spellbinders embossing folders, and they've got this neat little universal plate compatibility guide. Hello, and this will be on their site. I will see if I can talk them into making me copies of this, colored copies, please. So that if you buy a platform from us, we'll include this. I'll see what I can do, no promises, because they're just hearing about it now. But what this does is it tells you all the different manufacturers and the sandwiches that you would need. So they've got all these numbers or letters there, and then down below is the actual sandwich that you would need for that manufacturer. Talk about easy peasy. So if I wanted to do a Stampin' Up! New version 3D folder, will it work? Yes, and it's recommended sandwich number 2. So I just come right down there and there's sandwich number 2 and I go for it. If I want to use Spellbinders current design 3D, will it work? Yes. Oh, that's also sandwich number 2. How about an Ultinu 3D? Well, that would be sandwich number 5. So this is an important little tool to have because it will make your life a lot easier. Spellbinders has 5 new 3D embossing folders, and they're in the large size. So I think they're 8.5 by 5 is 5.5 by 8.5. And this is the same size as their 2D folders. We've done the large 2D folders as well, but these are 3D. So I've got 5 new folders from them. Wood grain and this beautiful floral. It's gorgeous. They're easy to use. They're perfect for backgrounds, and I'm gonna send each one of them through. So let's start with, well, maybe we'll start with Tuft. Do we want to start with Tuft? I suppose I can start with Tuft. All right. So I'm gonna do, what are they calling it, Tuft? Oh, they are. Isn't that so good? All right. So I'm gonna take a piece of white paper and a piece of black paper just so I can work with both. I'm going to send it on through and then we're going to do something with it. Now remember with embossing folders, the name, if you see the name, that's called being indexed when they print on the top of the embossing folder, and that tells you this way up. So if I had a pattern piece of paper and that's what I wanted to see on my finished project, I would want to see that pattern piece of paper facing me if the Spellbinders name is up. That's important to know. If I'm using cardstock, it really doesn't matter because it's the same color back and forth. Now I'm going to bring over my platinum. I have a platinum machine, a Platinum 6. And it's a fold away machine, so it folds up. It has a very small footprint. It's got a lot of force. It has a little handle right here, easy peasy. And when you fold it down, the wings actually are against your table, which is very nice. Wings are against your table. Now I'm going to grab my universal-ish platform or plates, and I'm going to take a look. They also give you some of the sandwiches right on the base plate. And I've got 3 different sandwiches here, or 4 different sandwiches here, and I can look at this and how to build a die cutting sandwich. So if I want to die cut, can I use this universal system to die cut? Sure I can. I can die cut Sizzix, I can die cut Spellbinders, I can die cut Memory Box, I can die cut Simply Defined, I can die cut Stampin' Up, I can die. Whose dies do you want to cut? Absolutely. My second one is if I want to emboss that die cut. Sure, there it is right there. Third, how to build a sandwich for an embossing folder. So a standard embossing folder, just your regular, like your Doris embossing folders. Simple, you know, not your 3D. And last but not least, how to build a 3D embossing folder. So this is your most generic sandwiches. However, when you're getting into other manufacturers, this is where you're going to want to refer to, because it's going to tell you, well, an Altenew needs a sandwich 5, and you're going to come down here and do a sandwich 5, which is not the same. Well, maybe that is. Oop, nope, it is not. As what they show here. What they show on the base plate is your most common. But having this will make your life a lot easier. I would absolutely laminate it and put it someplace handy. Now I'm using a Spellbinders embossing folder in a Spellbinders machine on a Spellbinders platform. And let's see how to do a 3D folder. All right, well, first it tells me that I need my base plate, my A. Then it tells me I need my embossing folder with my paper in it. And then it tells me I need my D plate. All right, so let's, oh, there's my D plate. Turns out I'm not gonna need my B or my C or my E or my F, so I'm just gonna put those over there. I've got my embossing folder with my paper in it. I've got my base plate. You can see that it's got extra room on it. Again, if this was a Sizzix platform, nothing wrong with a Sizzix platform. I use it all the time. But you can see it's just a little bit, it still fits. You're still gonna get it on just fine, but it's a little tighter. It fits right to it. They've kept this one a little bit bigger to give you a little more working room. I've got my Spellbinders face up and then my D plate, which is my knock knock. I'm gonna put it right on top and I'm gonna send it on through. And away we go. Now it's a pretty easy roll, I'll tell you, it's not that tight. Pretty easy roll. Let's move these up so I can move this over. Keep this handy since I know I'm going to do all the embossing folders from Spellbinders first. And let's see what we get. I don't know if you can see the depth and definition in that. It's pretty amazing. That is a true 3D embossing folder. Let's see if I can do it, if I can get it in the white. It's beautiful, right? So let's do something with them. I think I'm going to do something with both of them, and I'm just going to do it quickly. I'm going to move this back down. I'm going to have to play a little bit with my camera. I'm going to do something with all of them and just play a little bit so you can see them decorated. And I think with this one, I'm going to start with, I'm going to start with some ink. Now you're saying, but Stacy, why didn't you ink up the embossing folder and send it through? Well, you absolutely could. I could add ink and put my paper in and send it through and transfer the ink that way. I've done that millions of times, but these are 3D embossing folders. So the depth of them is very deep. And if you missed your paper, you might even get a slightly better impression, although I don't know. We haven't been misting our paper and the impression is pretty impressive. I'm going to take my ink and I'm just going to ink right over the top. And because it's so deep, and I'm putting pressure, I don't have to ink up my folder. I can just ink it up and it's beautiful. How's that? Because the embossing is so deep, it didn't go, it just stayed away. Didn't go in there at all. That's pretty amazing. I can absolutely go darker if I want. I can just keep inking and inking and inking. But what about the backside? Hello. Hello, backside. Well, can I ink that too? Sure, why not? Let's get some ink going. It's going to give you a completely different look because this is the reverse side or the debossed side. So now, do you like this better? Or do you like that better? But what if we wanted to do more to this side? What if I took maybe some of my cornflower blue and I did a little bit of that? Ooh. And what if I took a little bit of my green? Really? Should I? Okay. Now, do you like this? And look at all the little dots are completely white. Or do you like this? The beautiful thing is you don't have to choose. Are you ready to see the difference between the two of them? This is the same embossing folder. Two completely different looks. It's like you're getting a twofer. It's like you're getting a twofer. So typically the top embossing, what they traditionally want you to use, and the back side, which is just as stunning. Love it. See how all the dots are colored on this one? That's because they've been pushed up into the paper and the ink is hitting it. See how the dots are not colored on this one? It's because it's been pushed down. It's debossed. You choose which you like. You have options. But then I did it in black. So let's see, what am I going to do with my black? How about we're going to take some of our wax. And I think I'm going to take, so I've got wax here from Creative Expressions. Let me just tell you, in case you didn't watch last week's YouTube, Creative Expressions manufactures the Cosmic Shimmer brand and the Pink Ink brand. Now, in these bundles, there's Cosmic Shimmer and Pink Ink combined. When we got the bundles, when we got the waxes in, I took a look at them and put them together by the company, by the brand. They're all manufactured by Creative Expressions, but Pink Ink is called Wax Lyrical. And Wax Lyrical, Wax Lyrical, Wax nope, Wax Lyrical, Gilded Touch, Gilded Touch. Gilded Touch is the Cosmic Shimmer brand of the same. This is Wax Lyrical, this is Wax Lyrical, Gilded Touch, Gilded Wax Lyrical, Gilded Touch, Gilded Touch, Wax Lyrical, Gilded Touch. Okay, so these are the pink inks down here. This is the Pink Ink line, and this is the Cosmic Shimmer line. But when I looked at them to put I Want It All bundles together, I'm like, oh, this doesn't make any sense to me. No, no, no. I think, in my opinion, that these metallics should have come up with Gilded Touch, and these two brights should have gone down with Wax Lyrical. To me, this makes more sense as bundles. This gives you all your metallics, and no two metallics are the same. These are all different colors, and then you've got all your bolds and your bright colors together. So I kind of mixed things up, and that's how the bundles are done. Kind of a mix mosh, but that's okay. I think that this works better than what the original plan was for us when we brought them in. I just think that these colors work better. So I'm going to grab those and we're going to use it on this. Now a little wax goes a really long way, and I think I'm going to start with the red, which would have been a Cosmic Shimmer brand and would have come with a few of the metallics. Instead, like I said, I put it with all the pretty bolds because that looks like a beautiful palette to me. So I think I'm going to start with some red. And a little goes a long way. You're going to want to use a sponge. I just layer color on top of color on top of color. Because it's in a tube, it doesn't dry out, and I have no idea what we're going to get, but we're going to go. This is a water-based product, so not a waxy-based product like a Sizzix luster wax. That's a true wax-based product. This is a water-based product. You don't want to paint with it. It really dilutes down and you lose all the beautiful luster to it. But that looks pretty good. And then I'll just do the backside because I'm here. So it's kind of a start. Pretty, right? Then let's take another color. Let's take this fabulous blue. And let's put that on. Now the waxes, regardless if it's the pink ink or the Cosmic Shimmer brand, they're gonna get a little skin on the top, which is kind of nice because it then seals it from drying out. I really like that they're in the tubes because they're not drying out. That makes my heart happy. And a little goes a long way. I put it right over the red, and let's see what we get. Ooh, I like it. I'm digging on it. Let's see what we get over here a little bit. Okay, that's all the blue I'm going to do. And maybe one more color just for fun. How about this? Is it pearl? All right, let's turn it back over and let's do some pearl. What do you think? It's beautiful, right? Love it. Now you could have just done one color or two colors, but I'm a let's try everything type of girl. Yay. So now you have a choice to make. Is it this or is it this? Is it this or is it that? It's all the same embossing folder. I haven't changed my embossing folders at all. And look at the things you can do. A little ink, a little wax, and bing, bang, boom. Wow. Okay, let's try another embossing folder. So I'm going to put this one away. And let's cut another one. Ooh, look at how pretty is this. That one makes my heart happy. And I think I'm going to do it, same thing, I'll do it in white, and I'm going to do it in black. So I'll put a piece of white in and a piece of black in, just so that we can play. Bring over my Platinum 6 and send it on through. Again, my sandwich is going to be the base platform. It's going to be my embossing folder with my paper in, and my D platform, aka my knock knock. And send it on through. Again, a pretty easy roll. And let's see what I've got. Ooh, yay! Okay, white, look at that. Black. Now if you have a Platinum or a Platinum 6, the only way to get these through your machine is with this new platform set. Okay, what do we want to do? What do we want to do? I think we should ink. We'll ink. How about we ink? How about I do this one in all one color? Yeah? Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to do this one all one color. And I'm just using my Hero Hues inks. These are the cube inks that are exclusive to Scrapbooking Made Simple. The colors are available at Hero Arts, but you have to buy them in the 4-pack. We're the only ones who have the cubes and cubes only. And the next 4 colors that release in June. So right now we have 28 colors. We started with 24. We released 4 more in Q1 of this year, and we'll release 4 more Q2, Q3, and then the last 4 in Q4. Okay, this is just 1 ink cube. How pretty is that, right? It's just 1 color, that's not 2 colors of ink. But because I keep going over the top, because that is embossed up, it's getting a more depth of color versus the debossed or the depressed part of the image. It's sunk down. That's getting a lighter color because I'm not able to hit it as hard with my ink pad. But I tell you, to ink, I think inking up the folder, I think this is a beautiful look and a little bit easier. Now if I turn it over, I can ink the back side too. And you're going to get a completely different look. And because that embossing is so deep, beautiful, right? And I could absolutely take it and Maybe on this one, maybe I take a little bit of that purple. And I run a little bit of that purple over it. Still haven't changed my pad. Oh, gotta get the little skin off of it. Now you know why my fingers are a zillion colors. And how about we just kind of go over this just a little bit. And maybe we do the back side a little bit. Don't know what it's going to look like, but we're going to see. Can't hurt. We're only using white paper. And if you don't like one side, well, then you use the other. Nobody's going to know what you glued down. When you put this onto paper, if you don't like this side, nobody's going to know what's underneath this. But I think if you don't do both of them, you don't know. Until you finish, you don't know which one you're going to like better. And maybe I throw in there a little bit of maybe this iridescent gold. Ooh. And let's do this side. Just hit some of the tops. And then I could come back. Let's do a little bit more on this back side. Nope. So do you like the back side better? Or do you like the front side better? I don't know. This is beautiful. And it's done with an ink pad and just a little bit of that wax over the top on white paper. So you have options. Two completely different looks. Same embossing folder. Haven't even touched the black. How about we do just some of that iridescent gold again, just on the top. I got a little going on there. Maybe a little of the hot pink. Take that little skin off of it, which is keeping it dry and airtight. And maybe a little bit of the, I don't know, a little bit of the blue. Am I too much? Too much? Stop. Put my little tweezer in there. Get that little skin out. What does the back side look like? I feel like I don't have it all, that skin all the way off that top. A little bit of my blue. Oh, that's gorgeous. Oh my gosh. Okay, that's beautiful. I think I like this side better. But it's only black paper. That's all I've used so far. And a little bit goes a long way. It's easier to add more than to put too much on and not be able to put it back in the tube. And then let's do my pink. Right over the top, and it doesn't make mud. Can you wash your pads? Yeah, probably not. By the time you're done, you've got so much of it on there. So many different colors. And then how about a little bit of my gold? Okay, that's kind of dreamy. Or that. You choose. You've got both to go from. One piece of paper, two totally different looks. And it dries super fast. One embossing folder, two looks. Black paper, white paper. Talk about easy to do. All right, let's use another embossing folder. How about we take, let's move this one over there. And let's go here. Oh, this one's beautiful. Okay, piece of white paper, piece of black paper. This is their beautiful floral. It's gorgeous. Bring it over. Same sandwich. I'm not changing anything. It's a wash, rinse, and repeat. Send it on through. Nice, easy roll. Woo. That's a big ka-thump at the end. Why is it ka-thumping? Because my embossing folder, I'm putting it in on a straight edge. I could maybe turn it just a little bit on a rotate, but that's okay. I'm happy to go with it. So this one is Beautiful Blooms. The other one was Circle Illusion. Okay. Look at the embossing on here. And again, I can't tell if you can see it. I'm hoping that you can. Beautiful, right? All right, this one I am absolutely gonna ink without question. I'm gonna take my bubble gum and I'm just gonna ink, 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 ink. I'm gonna go over my florals first. Wow, my florals and my leaves. I'm gonna do all of that first. Okay. You're like, yeah, but wait. Now that I've done all of that, I come back with my same color ink pad, just like I did before, and I fill in. I fill it in. How beautiful is this? And this is only doable because that impression is 3D and so deep. Oh, that's just ink. That's all I did was ink that with the same color, didn't change the color, although it looks a little darker on the flower and a little lighter because the flower is higher and the ink is hitting it more and more and more, and not as much down below because that paper has been embossed up into that image of the flower, and yet the white around it is just the right amount to keep the definition so you can see. Oh, yay, right? That's pretty darn good. Okay, I'm gonna do this one more time. Bear with me. I know I'm gonna do it in white one more time because I think you need to see both. And I don't want to cut that. I don't want to cut it. So I'll just do this one down here. Just do this one down here, right there. Let's send it on through super fast. 1, 2, 3, ABC, easy peasy, mac and cheesy, and a side of Wahoo Kachoo. Let's get it through. Roll, roll, roll. And I'm afraid there's going to be a ka-thump, but we'll, oh, not mad. Okay, well, cool. Yay. Open it up. There's my embossing again. Do you have a platinum or a platinum 6? You love the embossing folder? Look at the size of them. You're gonna need the platform. That's why they did it, so that Spellbinders made that platform so they could bring out 3D embossing folders, but then they didn't want you to just be able to use their embossing folders, so they made the platform have all of those different layers so you'll be able to use everybody's embossing folders. Now, I already did this side. I'm gonna flip this over and do the back side. So I'm gonna just hit it. Just to give you an idea of what I'm looking at. Just to give you an idea of what I'm looking at. But wait, let's really add some color to it. And just ink, ink, ink. So now you have a decision to make. Which one do you like better? The good news is you don't have to choose. You can do them both. Same embossing folder. Totally different look. Same embossing folder. Told you had to see them side by side. I can't cut this one. This is I can't cut it. No, no, no. But so pretty. Here, the flower is carrying the color. And here, the debossed is what you get. I don't know, which one you like more? I like them both. And I didn't even do anything in the black. I don't know. Okay, that looks kind of pretty. Add a little touch of green to it. And right on top. Maybe a little touch of red. I don't know, you have options. Do you have options? Ooh, that was a lot. Oh, that was a lot. Holy smokes, artichokes. Okay, let's take some of that off and I'll put some back on. Oh, too much. Way too much. Less is more. Oh, way heavy down there. I don't know, let's just pick another color. A good contrast. And we'll just cover some of that up. Like it never happened. So it's kind of up for you to decide what it is you want it to look like, knowing that you're just using paper. You can be as non-committal as you want. Got that side. I've got that side. I've got this one. I've got this one. Bam. Amazing. Okay. Wood grain. Black. White. Send it through. Feel it wanting to go ka-thump. Come on. Oh, yay. Okay. All right. So I got my wood grain. Amazing. Now what you do with them is up to you. Do you want to ink them? Do you want to wax them? I mean, I can do the same thing and keep going. But eventually it really is up to you. You've got the idea of how useful these are. How amazing that they can be. Front and back side. Oops. Your option. Put a little just rust in there. You're like, why did you add the orange? I don't know. Let's go. Why not? Oh, I just tore it. Shush. That's how hard I'm pushing with my ink. All right, maybe not the orange, but you get the idea. Oh, look at that. That looks good though. Maybe the orange. Ooh, and maybe, ooh, oh no, you know what color? The bronze, this autumn bronze has this kind of greeny undertone to it. All right, so I think you get the idea. The options are aplenty. I want more on there. I have one last folder of theirs to work with, and then we're going to move into everybody else's folders. And then I think the last thing I'll show you is using it with a Sizzix machine. Oh, see, now I'm so digging on that. Can you see that that bronze has got this greeny interference to it? I like the greeny. It looks very cool. Let's try that green on the black and see what happens. It's a bronze green, so it's a bronze color wax with a green interference to it. Ooh, right? And then maybe just a touch of gold. Just a touch. Just a splash. Still haven't changed my pad. And this wax dries quick. Okay, I could do the back side. I could. I'm not going to. We need to move on. But options aplenty. You choose. Front side, back side. It's almost the same. Well, no, they're definitely different. Black, white, inked, waxed. Make your heart happy. The last one we have is kind of an unusual embossing folder. They call it Tile Mosaic. And I'll do it out of white and black, but definitely the white is what I really want to show you. And then we're going to start playing with the Lisa Horton folders. So my Spellbinder, well, it doesn't really matter because I'm using cardstock, whether my Spellbinders is face up or not. Let's bring my machine back. And straighten out my paper. So I've got my A plate, my embossing folder from Spellbinders, new 3D. You're seeing it here the first time. With my paper in, I've got my D plate, which is basically a knock-knock plate, and sending it on through. So we'll do this last one from Spellbinders, and then we're going to start playing with everybody else's embossing folders. All right. So this one is definitely got a tiled look to it. Look at how, I mean, it's a very unique folder. Definitely three-dimensional. Holy smokes, artichokes. But I'm going to play with the white. And I'm going to do the side that is popping out first versus the side that's debossed. So I'm going to do the embossed side. It's popping out before I do the debossed side. And I'm going to grab, I think, raspberry jam. Hello, raspberry jam. And I'm just going to color, 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 color. Now to me, that's kind of meh. Sorry, Spellbinders, that's kind of meh. I mean, just on its own, without any inking or anything, it's beautiful. But you start adding ink to it and it's kind of meh. Until you turn it over. Get some of that up. Oh, I'm almost afraid to turn it over because my paper. So I've inked on one side. I kind of got a meh looking. So let's turn it over. Now, can you see that the ink is coming through the back side of my paper? Oh, yes it is. Now, some of you, sometimes we're looking at that going, oh, my ink bled through. Now what? That's exactly what I'm looking for. Because I can set this down and now go over the top. And my grid is coming up. Okay, that's very cool. And if there's a place where my ink hasn't come through enough, I just come back over and add a little more ink and let it just bleed on through so it gets that detail in there. And just let it seep on in. That's a very cool looking folder. Or you leave it kind of plain. Can I go over it with some, yeah, I can go over it with some wax. How about some blue? And maybe, well, we'll do the back side too, just so you can see it. And maybe I throw on some orange, because we haven't used orange yet. Oh, get that little... little bit of orange. And one more color just for good measure. I want some of this light gold. So 5 new 3D embossing folders from Spellbinders. Amazing background designs. So much to be done with them. And it's all, oh, see, the just keeps bleeding and bleeding through. It's all up to you what you want to do with them. But what if you have other people's embossing folders? Absolutely. That's the whole purpose behind the almost universal. So close. But every embossing folder is different. If embossing folders were standardized and everybody had the same thickness, well, then they could call it a truly universal platform. But, well, let's take out a Lisa Horton. This is a cut and emboss. Ooh, it is a 3D embossing folder. 3D. Let's look at the difference. Can you see the difference between the thicknesses? This is definitely thinner than a Spellbinders. No doubt about it. So it's going to be a different platform, a different set of a sandwich. It's still going to go through, and yes, it's going to go through your big shot. Absolutely, it's going to go through your big shot, but it is definitely a different platform. Now, I'm not going to do a full 6x6, or should I do a full 6x6? No, I think I'll just stick with an A2 size. Okay, so I'm going to put my black paper in there. And now I've got to die cut and I've got to emboss. But it's not as thick as a traditional Spellbinders 3D embossing folder. That means my platform's got to change. So I come back over and I start to play. The Lisa Horton isn't on their cheat sheet. They didn't even know I was doing anything with Lisa Horton, but I love her embossing folders. So now I've got I'm going to try it as just a regular embossing folder and see what happens. And for a regular embossing folder, they want a standard embossing folder is a B, a folder, and a C. So let's do it. Let's try it. Here's your A. Here's my B. Here's my embossing folder with my paper. And here's my C. What's the worst that can happen? It says, no, don't go. Worst thing happens is that I start trying to roll it through, and once it hits that embossing folder, it says, oh no, it's too thick. Oh, but it didn't say that. No, it said, I like it, I like it. Okay, yay. But let's see if it cut. Because it's got to emboss and cut at the same time. This is a cut and emboss folder. Well, hello to you. That's a little, oh my gosh, can you even see the embossing on this? Oh. I am having such design envy with her designs. They are just so spectacular. I don't know what more you need with these. Too much is almost too much because they're so beautiful. I mean, hello. Where have you been all my life? I could add more color. I could. I feel a little bad doing that because they're just like perfect the way they are. But okay. Just to lighten that center just a little bit. Lighten the centers just a little bit. I don't know. I think I should have left it, but you get the idea. Lisa Horton folders are absolutely beautiful and had no problem going through the new Spellbinders universal-ish platform. I wish I could say universal, but I know because I showed you the difference in the thicknesses of the embossing folders. They're not the same. So it has to be a different platform. And some embossing folders may be too thick. Let's try this. Ooh. I don't know. They're all so beautiful. Let's try this one. And again, this is just a 3D embossing folder, much thinner than a Spellbinders. This is a slimline size. Put my paper in. Bring it over. I'm going to use it for a standard embossing folder right there. So that means I've got my A plate, my B plate, my embossing folder, which is slimline, and look at how much extra room you have on the sides, and my C plate. So my A, B, and C. And let's send it on through and see what we get. Oh, a little bit tighter of a roll. But beautiful. And I think come on, I'll just do this one in that iridescent gold. Little down there, and I think that might and that beautiful. What if I put a little bit of that frost in the center, that pearl in the center of those? And anywhere I got a little bit too much of that pearl, I'll come back with my iridescent and just put a little bit back and cover up that frost. A little bit of iridescent. Oh, right? Beautiful. Straight through, no problem. But what if we want to use a Sizzix folder? Sizzix. Well, last week I did the switchlets. Now, this switchlets has gone up to $40. Oh my gosh, $40. We sold it for $18. And then if you bought the bundle, it was down to $12.99. It's now up to $40. A switchlet is an embossing folder, a 3D embossing folder that has magnets built in. It comes with 3 different dies. There's 6 different switchlet sets, and each one of them comes with 3 dies and a folder. Each die is a different shape, but clicks into the folder. That's what those magnets are for, and each die then utilizes the 3D embossing folder. So these are the labels. There we go. And when they're in, it's a magnet. I mean, they're very, very cool. But this one, I hope you guys bought them. I really do, because we had to take them back up to full price. And there was a price increase literally during the YouTube. So are these going to work with it? Sure, why not? I'm going to guess, ooh, it's very thick. I'm going to guess that it's going to be more like a Spellbinders embossing folder because of the thickness. Now, I might be wrong. Been wrong before, but let's try. So if I do it, let's just keep with the one that I've got. If I do it on the same for a traditional embossing folder, it would be the A, the B, the embossing folder, and C. And what's going to happen if I try to send it through? Let's straighten my plates out. Oh yeah, it's instantly telling me no. This is where that common sense kind of comes in. It's saying no, don't. So don't. This is where I think that might be too tight to go through. Yeah, if the machine is saying, listen to the machine. It knows better than me. It knows better than you. And then you just try another sandwich. So for a 3D embossing folder, it's the plate, it's the embossing folder, and it is the knock-knock. Or I believe it's their D plate. And let's see what happens. Is it going to say no here too? Yeah, it is. It's going to say no. What if I turn it this way? Nope, still doesn't want to go through. Wow, look at that. All right, let's back it up. Let's try it with a clear plate. Oh, there we go. Look it. It took it. Look at that. Yay, took a couple tries, took a couple different platforms, a couple different sandwiches, same platform, couple different sandwiches, and voila. Fabulous. So you have to be willing to try, and you have to know when the machine says no, it means no. Just so you can see the embossing. So can it do a switchlet? You bet. I'm going to tell you the best way to run your switchlets is probably this way as opposed to this way. It's just a little harder to get it over. But can you do it? Yes. In a platinum machine? Yes. With their new platform? Mandatory. Well, no, look at it. Took it pretty good there too. So you're going to run it the way that works best for you. I ran it both ways and it went through both ways. And then, of course, with a switchlet, the whole idea is then I've got these two other dies that I can sub out click and place. Put a piece of paper in. Straighten my platform up and away I go. Oh, look at how easy peasy that was. It is a game changer for people who have Spellbinders Platinum machines. Without question, a game changer. But what about another Sizzix? What about their multi-level texture impressions? Yes, multi-level textured impressions. Okay, so is it a 3D? Isn't it a 3D? Well, it's got a high and a low to it. This is a little bit more about having depth perception, where some of the embossing folder is higher than another part of the embossing folder. Can we use it in the Spellbinders machine? Sure. Wow, look at how thick is this guy. Holy smokes. Okay, so now you can clearly see this is much thicker than the Spellbinders. Holy smokes, artichokes. I mean, they're not even close. But what does it say? Does it say in here, Sizzix? Sizzix 3D. It says use 3. So, oh, look at that. I did it right. Shows right there, 3. The A platform, your embossing folder, and is that a C platform? Yes. I was doing it right. I figured it out all on my own without even looking at the directions. So what have we got here? Sizzix, multi-level textured impression, platinum, new plate, or new platform. I've got my A. I've got my Sizzix multi-level impression, textured impression, paper inside, and my C. Square everything up, send it on through. Oh, look at that. Doesn't that just go through nicely? That's a yay moment for me. So it's not as deep as a 3D. Can you see that? Let's grab a 3D. Okay. 3D. Holy smokes, artichokes. That definition is massive. Multi-level. Pretty. More 2D than 3D. Nothing wrong with it. Beautiful embossing folder, absolutely. but definitely more 2D than 3D. Big difference in height. Big difference in height. And the back side of this one is probably my favorite. So big difference between multi-level impression. Is that what they call it? I forget. Multi-level textured impression and a 3D. This is going to be a much deeper embossing. This is nice, and you can still use it with your platinum. That's the most important thing. Then we come to the Tim Holtz 3D. Can you use the Tim Holtz 3D? And this one does say 3D. Again, super thick. I'm gonna guess, again, it's the same platform. Super thick. Holy smokes, artichokes. I'm going to guess that it is my A plate, my embossing folder, and a C plate. But just for giggles, let's try that. Hello, you. Let's try the D plate, just for giggles. And is it going to go? Oh no, this is where you say stop. This is why manufacturers have to put in some that it can void the warranty, because people will sometimes they'll just sandwich something in there so tight. You know, the idea is that these manufacturers have been around for years and they want you to enjoy their machine and they want you to be able to use everybody's dies in them. We just have to go, if it's saying no, it means no. So let's back that out and let's just put the clear plate on top. And let's see if it still says no. I should have put it on an angle. That would have gotten rid of the ka-thump. All right, let's see what we get from Tim's folder. Okay, that is a true 3D folder. It's not new. These have all been around. The Lisa Horton are new. Big difference between these two. This one's almost flat. And this one is nowhere near flat. Still haven't changed my sponge. Like, how many colors could you imagine if we scraped all of it off and saw what it's... Oh, I'm putting too much. Let's see. I think I like it better not colored. The Lisa Hortons are beautiful when you've colored them. I'm not sure. Maybe Tim needs to be watercolored. Yeah. It's okay. But the definition is there. It's beautiful. Definition looks good. I think the Spellbinders, it is at least the Spellbinders. Okay, so now we've done a Sizzix, we've done a Witchlet set, we've done some Lisa Horton, we did Here's the switchlet set. We did a texture impression. We've done a cut and emboss, right? All these different manufacturers, all through Spellbinders. What about a Nellie's 3D embossing folder? And again, now the thickness has changed again. So this thickness is probably more on lines with a Lisa Horton folder. Probably more in line. Yeah, definitely more in line with a Lisa Horton folder. Definitely nowhere near as thick as a Sizzix folder. And somewhere between, Spellbinders is somewhere in between the two, I think. So knowing that it's thinner, what did we have to do to get Lisa's through? Because I think that's what we're going to need to do to get Nellie's through. And I want to say that was running it just like it was a regular embossing folder. Oh, but guess what? They addressed Nellie's on their little cheat sheet, all the way down at the bottom. What one does it say to do? Can you see? It says number 2. So number 2 is an A plate, the folder, and the adapter plate. Nellie's number 2. All right, let's try it. A plate and folder, and then the adapter plate. Well, that seemed to go through pretty darn easy. I don't think it's enough of an embossing. To me, that's not 3D. What if we try and run it like a regular embossing folder, which would be an A plate, the B plate, the embossing folder, and the cut plate. Let's try that. See what we get. Okay, it wants to take it. It says, yeah, I'm good to go. Keep going. It's definitely tighter than the other sandwich that I did. Oh, yeah, it's a world of difference. There is a world of difference in the embossing. That's actually dimensional and 3D. This one is not at all. But I just played with the sandwich. And when I didn't get what I wanted, I tried again. Just played with the sandwich. Oh, this is magical. So all of the embossing folders I'm using are older embossing folders, with the exception of the Lisa Horton. And all the samples we have, and I have more samples than I think I've ever had before, are all done with the Lisa Horton or the Spellbinders. This is a little bit of happy. A little goes a long way. You'd rather add a little bit more on than do what I was doing, which is too much, because it will dry on your finger. You don't have a lot of time to work with it. That's why you need the sponge. If you put the wax on your finger, it's almost dry by the time you get it on something. Oh, I love this. This makes my heart so happy. Love that. I mean, talk about all the options, but I have a Creative Expressions embossing folder, 3D. This one feels kind of like a Spellbinders thickness, but all we can do is try. And for a 3D embossing folder, it is the A, the embossing folder, and the D. So we'll try that again and see if it's any better this time, or if this one needs to have a different sandwich. All you can do is try. Now I think they address they do Creative Expressions 2. Yeah, so they're saying an A, right here, your base plate, your embossing folder, and then they want me to bring back my D plate, which is my knock-knock. Okay, let's do it. See, that to me, well, you know, there's a little tension, but that rolled through mighty easy. Okay, it's okay. It's there. It's embossed. It's embossed. I don't know if it's 3D. Let's try it again. Only this time let's go back to what we were doing, which was an A for a regular embossing folder, a B, because it tells me right here, I'm reading it upside down, right on the platform, it tells me what I want to do for a standard embossing folder. Let's try. An A, a B, the embossing folder, and a C. So this should give you confidence, knowing that, yeah, you might have to play with it a little bit to get the exact sandwich that you want. Oh yeah, that's so much better. But you've got all the different plates to do it with, all the different layers to build your sandwich. Sometimes you got to take away from your sandwich. Sometimes you have to add to your sandwich. Sometimes you got to take more away from your sandwich. Sometimes you got to add more to your sandwich. It really is up to the manufacturer of the embossing folder and, quite honestly, your machine. How loose is your machine? Is it brand new? Oh yeah, see, okay. So let's just say that is a beautiful 3D embossing. That's gorgeous. This is the one I did first. It's okay. It is not this. No, no, no. It's okay. But this is yummy. This is beautiful. Oh, it's a new one. No, don't do that. What's wrong with your old one? Oh, phew. Yeah, that's much better. That's what we're talking about. So we've used Creative Expressions, we've used Nelly, we've used Sizzix, we've used Tim Holt Sizzix, we've used Switchlets Sizzix, we've used Lisa Horton. Oh, pretty, pretty, pretty. Pretty, pretty, pretty. But I'm not a one, I need more than one color. I know you're like, really? Yes. Let's blend it in and let's add. How do we feel about the green on this? Are you like, no, don't, stop, wait? I feel like when Willy Wonka said that, no, stop, don't. Oh, well, I'm perfectly happy with the green on here. Oh, yeah. I'm perfectly happy with that. Do you? And there's so much wax in these, and you use so little, and it's dry. So I have now used, gosh, I could even use a standard. This was an original, this was the first time they came out with the big sizes in the embossing folders. This is a Spellbinders 2D embossing folder. We had these first two, and this is going to go through too. So you don't have to decide, oh, I can't have this one, oh, I can't have that one. There will be a few that could be a challenge, and that's basically coming from, I think they said Simon Says Stamps and Memory Box. Some may go through, some may not. But between Spellbinders and this was, I think, Nellie's, and oh, here. So we have Creative Expressions, and we have Nellie's, and we had Tim Holtz, and we had regular Sizzix, and we had Lisa Horton, and we had Switchlets. It's all up to you. It's all doable. And we had all of the Spellbinders new 3D embossing folders. You decide what's working best for you. Now it's about the design. It's not so much about the manufacturer. Yes, we like to be loyal to manufacturers, absolutely. Hence, I did not cherry pick. But you also want the designs that make your heart happy. And that makes my heart happy. That makes my heart happy. That makes my heart happy. As does that. Options aplenty. But can I use it with a Sizzix machine? Yes. Yes, it will work. So I'm going to swap out my platinum. And I'm going to bring in my Big Shot. Do you need anything more than what you have with your Big Shot machine to make the Spellbinders folders work? Well, let's grab one. Let's grab the tufted. So, brand new 3D Spellbinders. Black paper, white paper, base platform, put it on, and let's see. So as you can see, there's a size difference. It just fits, and that's okay. It only has to just fit. and send it on through. Ooh, that feels very easy. It feels too easy. Yeah, nothing. What if I do my solo shim on top and send it on through? Yep, that's what it's gonna take. Ooh, am I not straight? I'm not straight. Straighten up my platforms. Don't go in crooked like I did. Straighten, thank you. Ooh, Stacy. Let's go, get it in. There we go. Is it gonna ka-thump? Please don't ka-thump. Come on, all the way. It wants to go all the way to the end. It's a little tight. Little tight. Oh. Oh. Okay. That was a bit of a workout. Okay. But did it work? Yes, it did. I have a feeling if my paper didn't go all the way to the edge, I have a feeling that that might have made a difference. Let's do it again. Let's just use a piece of paper that doesn't go all the way to the edge and see what we get. And see if it's still that much of a ka-thump. So I'm putting a Spellbinders embossing folder through a Sizzix Big Shot machine using Sizzix platforms. Tight, tight, tight. It'll go, but boy, oh, and see, then it loosens up once it's past the paper. Yeah, once it's past the paper, it loosens up. It's beautiful. It's definitely a tighter roll without question. It's beautiful. No, I did. I had two pieces in there. Okay. Well, I think that explains a little bit then, doesn't it? Holy smokes, artichokes. All right, so it will work. Can you use the Spellbinders tool in the Sizzix machine? You can, knowing that it potentially can void your warranty if it gets stuck. Can you do it? Yes. If you use a magic mat or you use a glimmer machine or whoever else, anybody else's platforms or specialty products to go through your machine, can it do that? Yeah, it can void your warranty. I tell you though, most manufacturers really want to work with a customer. Are they going to replace your machine? I don't know, but they don't want unhappy customers either. You know, you have to use common sense when doing this, and you have to make an informed decision. And that's why I'm telling you in advance. You have to know ahead of time. And then you decide. So I've got my, what else do I have from Lisa Horton? I've got such pretty, oh, let's do this one. I've got such pretty things from her. Ooh, right? So Lisa went through kind of as a standard embossing folder. One piece of paper this time, Stacy, not two. standard embossing folder is the A, the B, the embossing folder, and the C. So the A, the B, the embossing folder, and now you can see how much bigger the platform really is. And a C. Oh man, and that rolls through like a dream. Scooch these on down, scooch that on down, and let's see what I get. Oh yeah. Oh, that rolled through like an absolute dream. So yes, you can absolutely use it in the machine, knowing ahead of time to be smart when you're using it. Don't overstuff it. But I'm assuming you do that with your magic mat already. You already don't overstuff. And then you decide what you wanna color it with. They're beautiful. They really are just stunning. So it's your decision to make. Do you like the bigger platform and you want to use it in your big shot machine? Are you like, nope, not for me. I'm not messing with it. I'm not touching it. I'm keeping with the Sizzix machine platform that it comes with. Absolutely. There isn't that isn't the wrong thing to do, and I'm not advocating that you use the Spellbinder universal plates with your Sizzix machine, but I just want you to have options so that you know, should you do this, will that happen? Let's see. Let's see if that's the right sandwich for this one. Yep, that feels really good. Sizzix platform, Sizzix plates, Lisa Horton embossing folder. Easy peasy. Oh, and just stunning. Every bit as stunning on the Sizzix machine as it is on the Spellbinders. But if you have a Spellbinders machine and you do not have the new universal-ish plate, well, you're kind of stuck. There's not much you can do because you're going to need it to make all these 3D embossing folders work. This is just ink straight to it. And because of the depth, you can get away with doing that. I'm not willing to ruin a nuke pad. I know, isn't that terrible? I'm like, nope. So what did you like best? Did you like the Lisa Horton folders? Did you like the fact that if you have a platinum machine, you can now do all types of 3D embossing folders? Did you like the new Spellbinders 3D embossing folders and all of those beautiful, beautiful backgrounds? That was done in the Sizzix machine. The Big Shot. Your Switch, your Vagabond, your Pro, your Plus, your Fold Away. And it's got that beautiful iridescence to it. So pretty. So the Lisa Hortons, we have limited quantities because I bought them and I brought them in. So they are physically here in the store. The Spellbinders, we have a limited quantity. And gosh, I even think the wax we might have. Everything is I think the one thing we probably have oodles of is that platform. Let's run it through. Again, on a Sizzix machine. So you don't feel like you have to get a new set of platforms for your machine. You don't. You're just going to work with it and figure out the right sandwich for each embossing folder because they all are going to be different. Holy smokes, artichokes. Can you say stunning? I'm just going to do the whole thing in pink, and then I can always come back and pick up where the leaves are and add a little green there. Wow, that's pretty. Wow, that's gorgeous. And like I said, I could come back and add some green in my leaves and color where if I wanted to add a little more color someplace else. Ooh, Stacy. Little green in my leaves. You could use a finger dauber for a little more control where your leaves are. I don't know, you can just play until your little heart's content. So now that you know you have options, especially if you're an owner of a platinum machine where you didn't have those options before, the whole world opens up to you. It's all about what it is that speaks to you. I mean, I've got sample after sample after sample that we did today. They're just absolutely everywhere. All the different types of folders. All the beautiful looks. all the opportunities to change things up and play on just black and white paper. All right, let's talk about what's on sale. So I'm going to tilt up really quick before I show you what's on sale. So we don't sell the platinum machine. We can't get it drop shipped. Spellbinders has tried to work on that for us, and it's just not going to happen. Would it have been wrong for me to bring in their beautiful 3D embossing folders, knowing that anybody who has a platinum machine currently wouldn't be able to use them because they don't have the new universal platform? Yeah, it would have been wrong of me. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. Could have I insisted that vendor of mine years ago in the jewelry industry, could I have played hardball and really pushed it to where they bent to my will? It's possible, maybe. Would that have been the right thing to do? No, my dad would have been incredibly disappointed in me because you're losing sight of the big picture. And Spellbinders has thought about the big picture for its customers who have a platinum machine. This isn't an item that you think you might want. If you want to do 3D embossing folders, this is even if you have to save up for it, it's a need. It's going to change everything you do in your crafting, whether it's mixed media or altered art or layouts or mini albums or junk journals. Having that availability to add that layering, that three-dimensional layering to your projects. I love their folders, and I wanted their folders, and I was harassing them. When are we going to get 3D embossing folders? And then when she showed them to me and I said, oh, I want those, but I don't want that, I saw the, and Nicole placed things close to the vest. It was a very slight little, just the smallest little, So, take advantage of the new universalish platform, and if you have a Sizzix Big Shot machine or a Sizzix Ellison machine, take advantage of their beautiful embossing folders. All right, let me show you what's on sale. I'm going to start with the Lisa Horton only because it's the closest thing to me. Let's see. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to start with the Lisa Horton. And we do have an I Want It All. So she's got slimline that are beyond stunning. Every single one of these is amazing. And I have samples of all of them. Amazing. So we've got slimlines from Lisa Horton that will be on sale. I've got her larger folders. Two of them are cut and emboss. Those will be packaged together as an I Want It All. So the slimline will be packaged as an I Want It All. The cut and emboss will be packaged as an I Want It All. And then her 6x6s will be packaged as an I Want It All. And they are as beautiful as you think they are. The samples will not do them justice. And those of you who have been to the store to see them know I speak the truth. They have been jaw-dropping to every single customer who has walked into the store to see them. So, 3 different I Want It Alls, the 6x6, the cut and emboss, and the slimline from Lisa Horton. We are limited as to how many we have. I brought them in. They're here now. I can't get, it'll take too long to get more. Then we have the Spellbinders 3D, the wood, and the circle, what are they calling it? Circle Illusion. I like that one very much. The tile mosaic, the beautiful blooms, stunning. Oh, did I not even play with Leafy? Do I have Leafy? Oh, I didn't even play with these. Holy smokes. I have Leafy and I have Corrugated. Who knew? I hope I have Leafy and Corrugated. We're gonna find out soon enough. I hope those aren't coming out soon and I don't have them yet. But hey, so we'll do an I Want It All for the ones that I have. I think I have all of them. I feel so bad I didn't use Leafy or Corrugated. And then you'll see in a lot of the Spellbinder samples, you're going to see these items. They're cutting dies, these little birdies. Oh my gosh, are they stinking cute. And the little layering sprigs. So here's the layering sprigs. Here's the little birdie. Oh my gosh. And I want to say, is there another little bird? There's the other little birdie. Holy smokes, artichokes. These are darling. There won't be an I Want It All bundle on them. These are just open stock. Get what you want. All the rest of them will have an I Want It All bundle and available open stock. So if you just want one, you can get one. Here's a stitched tie. You've got glimmer for your sentiments and the matching stamps for the sentiments. So you're going to see a lot of these in all the samples that we have because these are the little accoutrements that kind of finish everything off. Then I have the Spellbinders universal-ish plate system. It would be universal if all the manufacturers had all their 3D embossing folders made at the same factory, but they don't. And so everybody's is going to be a little different, and some may not fit at all. You just don't know. But what I can tell you is right now, if you have a platinum, you don't have any way to do any embossing, 3D embossing folders. Here you go. There it is. An opportunity to open the door to even more creativity in one nice little box. I'd put a bow on it for you, but I can't ship it. The bow would be mushed. And then we have the waxes that I've been using all day long. These were on sale last week. I'll keep them on sale for you this week because I really wanted you to see with the black paper. It's beautiful. So sample time. I have more samples than I know what to do with. So if samples are not your thing, this is a good time to say, hey, it's been fun, Stacy. See you later. But I think you'd be missing out. There's the birdie and the sprig, and you've got the leafy background. So we must have the leafy background. I feel badly I didn't do that. I did not know. I'm sorry. So we have 7 embossing folders. Yay. And then here's the birdie. Look at that with the tuft background. Isn't that so cute? And here is Elisa Horton with the waxes. And here's Elisa Horton with the Spellbinders birdies and leaves. So you've got the leaf background. That's Elisa Horton background. And here you've got just a beautiful, simple color block, easy. The embossing is Lisa Horton. Here's the leaves. Oh my gosh. Okay, this is stunning, and I know my camera's not going to give it justice, but this is the same background that this one is on. Here they took a Spellbinders embossing folder and cut it out to make it look like a vase. This was honorary SMS girl Katie. Then I think she fussy cut that. Do you think she fussy cut that? I don't know, I bet she did. And she made it into a vase for her florals. This is Elisa Horton. This is a Lisa Horton. Oh, right? This is a Spellbinders with that cute little bird. This is the Blossom or Bloom embossing folder. So it's there. That is the same as this one, which is the same as this. So all three of these, same embossing folder, totally different looks. Here's the tuft with the stitched high, only they didn't do the stitching in the high. And the high is all welded together, so it's one word. But they've got the tuft background, the tuft 3D embossing folder. And here, here is mine, me just playing. And here is a finished sample. Swoon worthy, right? And again, just easy peasy, done with a little bit of ink, a little bit of the wax, and easy peasy. This is Lisa Horton. This is Lisa Horton. And then look at this with the Spellbinders. How cute, right? All done with the 3D embossing folder. And the high. And just wanted to say, and that's the stamp set. Here's a cut and emboss from Lisa Horton. All right, I have a lot of samples. Here's the Spellbinders wood background with their cute little birdies. So stinking cute. Love that. A little bit of the wax on it to give it a little bit of a shimmer. And I did this one. I made the background. And Claire then found everything else to go with it. So I did the tuft background, and then Claire finished it off. Elegant. Lisa Horton. Beautiful. Florals are amazing. Wait till you see her Christmas. Oh, yes, we will have it, and yes, it'll be in a YouTube. It is definitely amazing, and it'll probably be, I think it's either June or July that we're doing it. Maybe it's July? I think. Beautiful. And again, here just made a little vase. Just cut it up. Just because you emboss it doesn't mean you can't then die cut it. And look at, this is just an embossed panel. That's all it is a beautiful embossed panel. Simple, easy, effective. Are you ready for this one? Oh, like I said, design envy. Lisa. Oh, so well done. And she's such a nice person. And she gets my sense of humor. And she doesn't mind that she's in the UK. So sometimes I'm emailing her at like 3 o'clock in the morning. And she emails right back. She's like, what are you doing up? Like, I'm working. Can you get me? Do you have? Can we do? Spellbinders. 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 Lisa. So you don't have to choose. I don't know that you can have it all. Let me tell you, I know what the bill is when I got the bill for all of this. But we'll keep them as long as we can, and we will reorder from Lisa, but it will take time to get here. And I wanted to have these here by the time I did the YouTube. That way, if we were able to offer expedited shipping, we would. And if you place your order from just this category, no other products from any other category, no other products. You can't add anything from a past YouTube Yummy. Oh, this is her basket weave. Her basket weave is amazing. It might be also one of my more favorite embossing folders. Is that her? Yeah, that's her basket weave. It's beautiful. And Renee used the Spellbinders leaves to cut it out. I love her basket weave. So if you place your order just from the YouTube Yummies sale, no other items from any other category, and your order is paid for by the date shown in the YouTube Yummies category, we will be expediting these orders because the product is here. Right now we're trying to do our best to get everything out as quickly as we can. You can certainly do a pay later and call your payment in, but your payment has to be made by the time, by the date that's shown in the YouTube Yummies category. You can do a pay later and pick things from a million different categories and just know it'll ship in our standard shipping time frame. You can do a pay now and pick things from a bunch of different categories. Just know that it'll ship in our standard shipping time frame. So if expedited shipping is not urgent for you, and I don't know the date we'll be able to expedite, I have to go downstairs. We have to look at the progress on how we're doing. But we will get these if it is a pay, your order's paid for by that date, and it only includes items from this YouTube Yummies category. Isn't that gorgeous? We're doing, so downstairs is handling the expediting. You're like, how are you getting this done? Well, first off, manufacturers are shipping the products in bundled for us. We're negotiating that. We're still negotiating that, but we're getting there. Look at this. That's Lisa Horton. And second, downstairs, the few girls that are downstairs, we're working on getting these things filled from downstairs. James and Michael Jr. are doing the quality control. Claire and Renee, SMS girl Claire and Renee, are filling your orders. You know, so that's how we're managing. Look at, isn't that so cute? This is Spellbinders. That's that wood grain background and that cute little birdie and the little leaf. Just darling. And look at this. It has just this piece from the Bloom 3D embossing folder. I think that's 3D. I don't know if that's Bloom or if it's so small. Well, it's darling. Beautiful card. Here's another Lisa Horton. Told you I had a lot. I'm almost there. Are you still with me? Hello? 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 Look at this. These are all the little bits and pieces and all those upsell items I showed you. All those little add-on items. You're like, what's an upsell item? Well, that's when we show you something and you like it and it's not the feature product. Kind of like those point of purchase items that what is it? Home Goods. Home Goods makes you walk here and there and here. And they have all of these little things, all of these trinkets all the way around, hoping that as you're walking through all of those lines, one of them's, oh, here's the corrugated. They're hoping that you just couldn't resist one of them. Impulse purchase. I'm bad at impulse purchase at like Home Goods, especially because they have yummy little treats and candies. Yes, look at this one. This is Lisa Horton. And this is Lisa Horton. So this is tufted on a smaller scale. Not quite as big as the Spellbinders tuft. And Lisa. I don't know if this is Claire. So pretty. All right, the last sample I have for you is a layout. And Claire put it together. You've got the Spellbinders wood grain. You've got the Spellbinders little dies, the add-on dies. It's a great layout, Claire. It's beautiful. So pretty. All right, you guys. I know it was long, and I know there was a lot of information, and I know that there was a lot of talking before I actually got to something, but it's important that you know. It's important that you know. I don't think I need to say anything more than that. I want to be excited about the product. I want to be just ready to get into it and to show you, but I want you to have the information before we start. And that way you can say, oh, I'm just going to watch this one just for the joy of it, just for watching her get her hands inky and make a mess and just play with white and black paper, because really it is only paper. Or maybe by hearing everything in the beginning, you're like, okay, I need to focus on this. I need to write this YouTube number down. I need to take notes. Or maybe in the beginning you thought, okay, yay, I have a platinum. I need that universal plate system. Or you said, oh, I have a Sizzix. I'm good, but I want the embossing folders. It's all up to you. The choices are just about limitless with what you can do with all of these products. And they're from really, really great companies. So, Scrapbooking Made Simple, where we don't cherry pick. We don't just take the best of the best and let the rest go. We support our manufacturers who support us, who then help us support you. So if you have a local independent retail store, go visit them, say hello. I'm sure they'll be ordering the Spellbinders embossing folders, and if you can wait and get them there, absolutely. The Lisa Horton, a little more difficult to come by. So I leave it in your hands. The pink ink Wax Lyrical is exclusive here. So I leave it in your hands to sprinkle a little bit here and a little bit there of your crafty budget. And if we all support each other, well, then we're all going to stay here enjoying our craft. All right, you guys, I will see you next week. I'm Stacy, Scrapbooking Made Simple, scrapbookingmadesimple.com. Shop in-store or online. And don't forget, check the expedited. I'll put the dates in there for when your orders will start to ship. Bye.